All right, good evening, everyone. We have quite the active weather approaching Dallas Fort Worth, so we're going to talk about that in full detail here in just a second. So, welcome in everyone to this potentially active weather, Friday weather, I should say. So, let's just get right to it. And so, here's the current radar. As you can see, we have a squall line that has formed west of Dallas Fort Worth, and right now it's approaching the western edge of Palo Pinto County. So if you're in the Mineral Wells area, anywhere from there to Jacksboro, uh, be on the lookout for these line of storms. Now, luckily, the only severe thunderstorm warning we have is for this portion of the box, or excuse me, this portion of the line. And, well, if I can get this to work right, let's try this. Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's do it this way. All right, so let's go here. So really, this does not want to work like I want to. So let's do this. So that portion of the line right there is where we see severe thunderstorm warning, and you could tell that they haven't yet, and I don't know if they're going to, they haven't yet extended the severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect for the counties just west of Palo Pinto County and Jack County. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, or they did, I should say. So let's put this in motion. And I was playing with that earlier because I thought my new cursor was going to work, but apparently not. But anyway, so that's a line in motion, as you can tell, making steady progress to the east and maybe just a slight tilt to the northeast. And so, really, we're not expecting a widespread severe weather outbreak. Although I'm going to expand this radar out here and kind of give you a better idea of what we could see. We do have a couple different areas of concern. We do have this area southeast of Dallas Fort Worth, not severe, sub-severe as they say. Had a couple hail reports out of that. Nothing really to be too concerned about, but it is generally moving off in this direction. So if you're in Sulphur Springs, have relatives up in Northeast Texas, you just may want to give them a heads up about that. Again, it's not anything that's terribly concerning, and no severe thunderstorm warnings for that particular cluster of storms. Really, the main concern is this line of storms right here. And again, you kind of get a pretty good idea. This is a line and generally headed this way. And so on its current track and speed, you're looking at it approaching the Metroplex, the western part of the Metroplex, probably closer to 10 o'clock, maybe 10 p.m. And then it's moving at a pretty good clip. So I would think it'd be out. At least the initial line would be out of the Metroplex after 1 a.m. on the eastern side of the Metroplex. And you can see quite a bit of lightning with this. And so, again, not a true squall line in the sense of all the cells are severe. But I do want to go over the hazards that we can expect with this. I think it's just worth pointing out a couple of things that we just want to be on the lookout for these storm. So actually, this is a little bit old now. So the National Weather Service extended the severe thunderstorm watch a row of counties over. So really, the Palo Pinto and Erath County. If you just kind of picture this, they've added a row of pink to the severe thunderstorm watch until midnight. I'm not real sure if they will extend it any further east. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how the structure of the storms maintain themselves. Right now there's not quite as much instability over Dallas Fort Worth, over North Texas, although there's some, and there's actually, just looking at the latest sounding, it's probably maybe a little bit more unstable than they thought, but again, nothing that's crazy or anything like that. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if we had some kind of severe thunderstorm watch for Dallas Fort Worth tonight. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't have one at all. All right, so let's kind of go over the particulars of everything. And I appreciate you if you're just joining us. So this is kind of the setup for tonight. I talked about this morning in my update. So you can kind of see the bigger chance for severe weather is west of Dallas-Fort Worth. We'll kind of go into finer detail on that in just a second. And then we have a chance, as you can see, for strong thunderstorms. And then as you get further east, the severe weather threat will diminish, but the heavy rain threat will actually increase. So that is something that going to definitely want to watch out for in the eastern and southeastern counties of North Texas. And then timing, actually, I think this is probably a little too slow now. Dallas Fort Worth falls into the number 2 category, and it's midnight to 3 a.m. I really think it's going to be about 2 hours ahead of that. So I think it's going to be more like 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. the way it's going now. This graphic was created in the afternoon, so obviously things have changed just a tad. But again, there is a chance for severe thunderstorms, not a widespread chance of severe thunderstorms, but it's certainly not out of the question. And the main threat for Dallas-Fort Worth would be hail, nothing gigantic or anything, and certainly nothing widespread, but there is a chance for that. But really the bigger threat is damaging straight line winds and, believe it or not, a tornado. Now, not the tornado in this traditional supercell sense, but a tornado in the QLCS sense. I think I got that right. And so that's where these tornadoes spin up on the line, the squall line, and we're going to go back to the radar in just a second. So this is a little bit different graphic than you normally see. So normally I show you the Storm Prediction Center's graphic. This is the hazard planner graphic that the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth puts out. So it's a little different, but you get the same gist of it. So the threat risk for severe thunderstorms in yellow is limited. Now, that doesn't obviously means that it's not expected to be widespread. And then pretty much when you get east of Dallas-Fort Worth, east of US 75, then it's not really much of a threat at all. And then if you look at the tornado risk, and this does kind of match what the Storm Prediction Center had put out, that really west of Dallas-Fort Worth, and we have a couple of reports of tornadoes earlier today. I don't know if they did any damage out near Haskell, I think. But again, as the further this line moves east, the tornado threat diminishes. Now, even though there's not a limited threat risks in yellow over Dallas-Fort Worth, I think as that line moves through, the spin-up tornado is the biggest threat we have. Now, again, obviously the National Weather Service doesn't think much of it for Dallas-Fort Worth, although I definitely think they don't dismiss it totally. It's just that right now it doesn't look like even that would be a big threat, and let's hope that's the case, because spin-up tornadoes are very hard to predict, and can spin up and spin down really, really fast, so really hard to warn too. So the hail risk, so we always like to talk about the hail. Again, limited risk, the elevated risk further west out near Mineral Wells. So again, pretty much the thinking we've had all day. I think the hail threat's really a limited threat. I think that hail is the less of the three, tornadoes and damaging wind, to be honest. If you had to rank them, I would say damaging wind is our best threat, spin up tornado, and hail in that order. Of course, all three can happen, certainly not, hopefully not at your house. So it's a little bit different map. This is a lightning risk map. And again, it's kind of the threat risk, limited, elevated, significant. So you do see the whole North Texas area is in the limited. So yes, there's plenty of lightning strikes around. But the elevated threat risk is, for down south and then some storms up north that have a little bit more instability with them, certainly from a lightning standpoint, not from a tornado standpoint. So, and the very north and northeastern fringes of the Metroplex are included in that. So interesting graphic there. And excessive rainfall, limited, not really looking for anything, flooding range or anything like that. The system is moving too quick for that. So I think that that's, although it's going to rain, and, I would be surprised if most of us got an inch, even though the line itself has been pretty quick. It's pretty heavy rain, and there's some rain behind it. And then just real briefly, this is next week's outlook starting on Sunday. Not quite as nice as it was this past week, but we'll take it for almost the middle of February. And yes, I'm sure you probably heard the rumors, if you will, about maybe a really cold snap coming in the middle of the month. I wouldn't get too worked up over that, but I think that it's going to get colder because it's February, so I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, so that's the original graphic. All right, so let's go back to the radar, see what we got going on there. And we'll zoom in a little bit here. And so, pretty healthy line. They don't see, let me check spotter reports. Let's see, let's go over here. I don't think we have any new severe thunderstorm warnings. Just checking over here. No, okay, so I was just reading. They don't have the Weather Service doesn't have a plan to issue a downstream warning. So it looks like Mineral Wells, Jacksboro, looks like, at least for now, you're not going to get a severe thunderstorm warning, which is good because that means the storms are behaving. So we expand this out a little bit. You can kind of tell this line, and of course this the scope of the radar only goes so far, and we could change radar sites. But again, you can see this is a solid line up into Oklahoma, on down into central west central Texas, down to the hill country, and actually in the hill country. They are going to have some probably even rougher weather. And just as I say, they're not going to. Oh, they did. I'm sorry. I thought they issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Palo Pinto County, but they actually expired it. So, yeah, okay. I was going to say, I thought I was reading something different there. Okay, so let's put this in motion here real quick. And we'll zoom in a little bit here. So again, you can kind of see this, the squall line is making steady progress to the east. And like I said, I would say on the western side of Fort Worth, you'll see this around 10 o'clock or so, give or take. And then it'll march through the Metroplex between 10 and midnight, 1 a.m. on the far eastern side of the Metroplex. Now, if you're just tuning in, here's kind of the bottom line of everything. This line earlier in West Texas did produce a couple of tornadoes, decent-sized hail reports. As we've expected all along, as this line got further east, it would diminish some in intensity. Now, as you can tell, it's a decent squall line, that's for sure. And I say squall line, it's not a severe squall line, but gusty winds, a lot of lightning, the good old-fashioned stormy weather, and so hopefully that intensity will keep up, or of course obviously lessen a little bit. We're never going to complain about the rain because summer will be here before you know it. We'll wish it had been raining. So the bottom line, like I said, is it's not to be overly concerned about. I just wanted to come on and give everybody a heads up on what we can expect between now and for the far eastern parts of the Metroplex between now and midnight or 1 a.m. So gusty winds, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, very heavy rain, torrential rain in some sense, and then hopefully that's it. We don't anticipate there's not a severe thunderstorm watch anticipated to be issued further east and to include Dallas-Fort Worth, so that's good. And then if that trend were to change, then obviously I would keep y'all up to date on it. All right, let's stop this real quick here. All right, so just to kind of give you an idea of the wind structure in these, we'll go to the velocity scan. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. You're very welcome. Let's see. So the good news is and of course part of this, the radar is too far out. Let me try this one. Yeah, a little bit better. So you can kind of tell no rotation indicated of any kind. So that's not surprising. However, it's something that we just want to watch, and obviously I'll be watching it as the line gets closer. But it's not a situation to where this back over here. It's not a situation where it's a severe squall line. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of what you would want to look for in a radar presentation, and that's not going to work. So let's try this. All right. So let's see if I get my cursor to work here. There we go. So this is, by the way, this is nothing alarming. It's just that when you get these kind of eddies, if you will, in this line, and if I probably do a horrible job here, but sometimes they want to spin like this, because again, low pressure is counterclockwise. That's where you just have to be careful about. And by the way, this is not just using this as an example. This is not a spin up, potential spin up, or anything like that. But like I said, the issue is that they can spin up fairly quickly, and the Weather Service does a really good job in giving warning even on those. But even then, sometimes it's hard to predict those. So, like I said, so between now and, like I said, it depends on where you're at. If you're, on the west, and this actually gives you a better idea where you are in the Metroplex. If you're on the western side of the Metroplex, yeah, you'll probably get some stormy weather, but by 10 o'clock, give or take. And if you're on the eastern side, probably 11 o'clock to midnight. So just nothing to be terribly concerned about. just something to be aware of, and that's why I come on to do these, because want everybody to be aware and answer any questions I got and I get. I don't see much in the chat, but that's not surprising because it's Friday night. I guess only weather geeks like me are watching the weather, but that's okay because that's why, as I say, I'm watching weather so you don't have to. So I guess, like I said, not to be overly concerned about. I think it's just something that just wanted you to be aware of. I don't think this is a big hail threat. I don't think you got to go clean out your garage to get your car in there, although that's always a good idea. But yeah, as far as hail goes, I don't think you had that. Karen, as I'm typing a question. It's I appreciate you, Karen, by the way. It's just not unfortunately, we're going to have many instances in the spring to talk about severe weather. Hopefully it's going to be one of those springs where, yes, we have some severe weather, but it doesn't impact a lot of people, and it's just fun to watch in a field. Unfortunately, that's rarely the case in the sense that severe weather does strike metropolitan areas, so I'm not surprised that would be the case. Anything happening from Karen, anything happening around 4 to 6 a.m.? Boy, I sure hope not, because I hope I'm in bed and asleep. But in all seriousness, no, there could be some lingering rain, but I don't get that sense. This is a fairly progressive system, so it won't take long to move out. Matter of fact, if we kind of, and I don't know if I have it still pulled up or not. I'm gonna try to find it real quick. So I was looking, I don't, but I'll pull it back up. So I don't get too caught up in radar animations because most of the time they're wrong. Karen says, "What can have a roof made of?" Oh, why can't? I think that's you. Oh, you can have a roof made of bacon. Too awesome. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Duh. I'm a little slow tonight. Yes, and thank you for mentioning that, Karen. So I do fail to mention it sometimes, but they understand because I'm talking about the weather. Bacon roofing, and it does make you hungry, doesn't it? And Amen Plumbing. So they are two of my sponsors of the 3296 Weather Podcast, which this is an extension of, maybe a live version, if you will. And so awesome people. It's funny because one is kind of a severe weather, kind of deals with severe weather a lot, Bacon Roofing, in the sense that, hey, if we have a bad hailstorm or even tornado, they'll help you out. I know nobody wants to have to do that, but if you got to do it, then they're the people you need to call. John Bacon's an awesome guy. I've known him forever. And then on the flip side, Amen Plumbing. Of course, you can have plumbing any time of the year, but again, especially going back to February 2021, yes, unfortunately, you got a lot of freezes and stuff like that, and so no freezing weather with this forecast. But whether it's your pipes are frozen or whether you just got a good old-fashioned plumbing need, Amen Plumbing. Chris Mann is the gentleman that I've known for a long time. He will take care of you. He takes care of me. They both take care of me. So thank you, Karen, for pointing that out. I appreciate that. Hickory smoked roof. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. You're making me hungry. You got to quit that, Karen. Okay. So let me see if I could find that one radar simulation because it kind of really answers Karen's question. Get over here and do this real quick. And that's actually not the one I want. Let's do this. All right. Oh. All right. Now let's change. Let's do this. Turn this one off and. Not what I wanted, but that's what's doing at my house. Let's see. Why is this not working? All right, so let's try this. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not going to pick the... yeah. There we go. All right. So this is a radar simulation for later tonight. And of course, it starts back in the past, but you can kind of see as... This is the, what is this? This is HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. And so Early morning schedules. Oh my goodness, on a Saturday. Ugh. But so I know it's hard to read there, but so this line is going to move through midnight, and you kind of see most of that after it moves through. Most of that is 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. So you are good, Karen, as far as storms. So that is for Karen and for anybody else that wanted want to know what the radar was uh, later on. So if we go back to the current radar, let's see. I guess let me try to. There we go. All right, so we'll expand this out and put this in motion. I got so many monitors, I got to go back and forth. So the good news is, as you can see, there are no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for our area. And I'm not saying that we won't have any in the going forward, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't have any. I wouldn't be surprised if we had one or two. But again, overall, I think it's something that's not a big threat to worry about. Yeah, got to make that bacon. Yeah, that's a kind of a Saturday morning staple for our household too. Is bacon on Saturday. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so we'll wrap this up here. I don't see a whole lot of other things in the chat, so I appreciate everybody watching, of course. And again, I know it's a Friday night. If I wasn't a weather geek, I'd be doing something else too. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing something else here in a minute. But I'm definitely going to be watching it. So you can kind of see this line is a healthy line. I would imagine, hopefully, between strengthening and weakening, I would bet it would be on the weakening side. But we'll see. This is Texas weather, and it's crazy. You're welcome, Karen. I really appreciate you. It's just I just enjoy. Well, I enjoy the weather, obviously, but I enjoy keeping people up to date and informed. Because, like I said, unfortunately, statistically speaking, we'll have much more dire situations, relatively speaking, in the spring, and so I'll be on top of that as well because that's what I do. All right, so I don't see anything else in the chat, so I am going to wrap this up. But as always, I am watching the weather, so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great rest of your evening, what's left of it, a great weekend. This is going to clear out tonight. The weekend's not going to be pristine or anything, but it's going to be not bad. And then we're going to have that cold front move through on Sunday. Going to be breezy, kind of cooler to start the week. Maybe some cloudy day, not cloudy days, but some clouds and then some sun. So clouds and sun next week. Temperatures in the 60s, so nothing bad at all. So, well, as always, I'm watching weather, so you don't have to. Hope everyone, again, has a great weekend. And if it gets a little crazy between now and 10, 11 o'clock tonight, I'll hop back on. But if not, then if you like stormy weather, you're going to get some. So y'all have a great evening, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.